I like to think that everyone has that turning point in their life where you're like, all right, is this what I want? What is it that I want? And one thing I commend to you about is that you took the time to actually figure it out. A lot of people just kind of put their head down and they don't really know where to turn because it's a hard journey. Life is a very hard journey. You don't really know where to go. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Justin Rodriguez, your favorite lender here in Neighborhood Loans, and we're back with another episode of Cafecito Talks. And some of the things that I love about the episodes that are to come are really just kind of diving back into the beginning stages of the industry. And honestly, whenever I hang out with this individual, it feels as if we're back to day one. So it really does appreciate to just kind of go back and understand where we first came from in the industry and where we're at right now. So Jess, thank you so much for joining. Everybody, if you don't know, her name is Jessica, but we call her Jess. Thank you so much for joining. You want to kind of introduce yourself on who you are and your journey here?
For sure.
A long one.
A long one. Well, thanks so much for having me, first and foremost. And you just touched on the beginning of our days, right? At least when we both started in the business, it takes me back to our very first business meeting. What was it? How long ago was it?
No, I think it was like 3 years ago, maybe probably three.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2025, yeah. 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while, dude.
It's been a while, but at the same time, doesn't time fly?
It does. I can't even imagine 3 years. Like you really look at the whole entire journey, the picture, and you're like, what the fuck? I can't even believe it's been 3 years. I know. It's a blur.
Yeah.
It's all a blur.
For sure. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm super excited about this year.
Mm-hmm. A lot of big things to come. A lot of big things to come. And that's the one thing I love about New Year's is it's kind of like a fresh restart. I feel like every single time that a new year comes, it gives you that kind of, when you first meet somebody, you get that initial spark and like, oh my God, everything. And the more you see them, obviously the spark a little dwindles away. And that kind of applies to a lot of things in life. The more you have it, the less spark that you really have. And that's what the new year gives you. It gives you that spark, that energy to keep going, something fresh, new goals to accomplish. And I think this year, man, I don't know. Something about this year just gives me, maybe it's a 25.
25?
It's 25. Maybe that's what it is. This is what it is this year.
But. Yeah. I think to your point, the beginning of the year is like a refresh, right? Yeah. Especially for a lot of individuals in our industry. Yeah. Why? Because it is a time where we go back and review kind of what we did throughout the 12 months. And it now propels us to come up with some goals. Yeah. And for me personally, I've taken this like last month or so to go back and analyze and audit really how I've been approaching this business, how I've been approaching the industry, and how different the Jess in 2025 is from the Jess back in 2018, which is when I started. Yeah. But anyway, I think that's definitely what's getting me excited for the year. I know a lot of individuals that I do work with, like yourself. I've seen your growth in the last 3 years. I've seen how amazing you've done, not only with helping clients, but growing your team. And just being, I think, being back in the city, surrounded with, again, individuals like yourself, with some day ones for me too, and just kind of touching base and again, seeing how much they've grown. That's inspiring. Yeah. That's inspiring for me to see the people that were here 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and are still here wanting to do good for the community, for themselves, for their family. Like, that's what we're here to do, I think.
No, 100%. I think that was one of the most important parts for me when I wanted to do this podcast with you, is just dive deeper into the whole entire journey, because I think since we met in like 2020, 2021, it's like, I've seen different versions of you where you kind of trying to find yourself in this journey. And I like to think that everyone has that turning point in their life where you're like, all right, is this what I want? What is it that I want? And one thing I commend to you about is that you took the time to actually figure it out. A lot of people just kind of put their head down and they don't really know where to turn because it's a hard journey. Life is a very hard journey. You don't really know where to go. And one thing I respect about you is the fact that you just like, okay, fuck it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to figure out what is it that Jess really wants in life. So I want to hear the journey from, obviously 2018 to where you're at right now. You left, you came back. Like, what was the mindset when you were here, you were in real estate, you were going, and you were at it full time, and then you kind of transition into, you know, a new phase living in California, way different environment than what Chicago is, and then coming back? What was the whole journey?
For sure. I mean, honestly, long story short, right? It's helped me gain perspective. And I'm so grateful for that, because the Jess that started in the business back in 2018 had different goals, different, even a different why. I might even dare say, okay? And not because it changed, but because it expanded. So me starting with full force in the business, not really knowing what real estate was going to require from me, I didn't allow myself to take that pause to really look at my career and understand what I wanted out of it, right? But at the same time, again, I'm very stubborn in certain things and certain values that I have, and one of them is moving at my own pace. And in this industry in real estate in Chicago, that's really hard to say. That's really hard to do. How dare you say you want to pause? How dare you say you are actually going to carve some time out for maybe some rest? You know, so that was maybe, I didn't share that idea with anyone. I just went and did it. But of course, you kind of out of sight, out of mind, right? And that's okay. But fast forward to what I gathered from California, both personally and professionally, now I know what I want. I know what I want from this career. I know what I want from my life. I know how I want to live. I am not going to ignore when, you know, rest is needed. I think that a lot of us are used to this like hustle culture, right? And I'm not going to neglect or go against the hustle culture. However, it is so important to, excuse me, as you are doing this, as you're hustling and building your business, you also have to honor yourself. You have to honor your family now for you, right? You have to honor your rest. And for me, I did honor some time off from the industry, and I did some other very adventurous things that on another occasion with some more time I'll share with you. But again, both professional and personal, what I gathered in this pause, I guess, and in the way that I've been approaching my business, it's helped me gain some perspective. And therefore, I think now for 2025, that's going to allow me to be a better person, first and foremost, for the people that are around me that I love. It's going to allow me to serve my clients better. It's going to allow me to be in a good headspace where I can continue to do what I love to do, which is be in real estate, build wealth through real estate, and continue to nurture these friendships that I've built. So
I think the most important thing that I heard from what you just spoke about, right, is you kind of found yourself. And I think in a way, in order, the one piece of advice that I got from, I don't remember the individual who I was talking to, but they said, I don't have business goals, I have personal goals. I figure out my personal life first, and through actually having those personal goals, my business grows naturally. And when I heard that, I sat back, and one of the things that I pray about every single day is I want to be the best version of myself so I can allow everybody else around me grow and help naturally our business grow together, right? Like, one of the first conversations I had with Fernando was, I remember just like 2021, we first got into business. He was like, I never want to be in Mexico alone drinking by myself, which is why I want my team. I want everybody to grow with me, and I want to just have everyone be able to be in a position so where we can all travel together. Took a step back. I'm like, all right, that's kind of what I want, because during that time when I first got into career, I didn't really know what I really wanted. But then I was like, I like that. I want to be in Mexico with people that I like partying with, having a good time. So it's like you kind of go through these journeys, trials, tribulations, and one thing that really sticks out is just finding who you are, figuring out what you have to do, and taking a big pause. Like you said, we live in an environment in Chicago where that is not an option. You go to New York, you go to these big cities, you're not gonna have that.
Right.
Now you fast forward and you go to a city like a state of California, right? Like complete opposite, 360. You're very chill, relaxed. Like every time I go on vacation there, I feel like nobody's working. You go to the mall, everyone's shopping. It's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, everyone's shopping, surfing. People are shopping, eating, and it's a different environment, a lot less hustle. You go there to relax and unwind. But during that time period that you were living in that different environment, how much of that was needed for you to kind of like, all right, maybe I missed it. Did you miss it? Or was it more so just kind of like a reset for you? How did that really kind of shift your perspective? And I would like to know, like, what was your why before, and how did it change, and what's your why now versus what it was before?
For sure. Well, I think the change in perspective comes from the shift in culture from the different cultures, actually, because there is a different working culture out in California, and I'm not going to say I know everything about it. Yeah. At the same time, I did have a chance to have a little bit more free time and engage in conversations with other friends, other people that live there, right? And through those conversations, you learn that you can enjoy certain things that maybe we don't talk about in Chicago. Again, and I'm not bashing us, because I love my city. I love Chicago. I love our hustle culture. And going back to the why I came back, I really did miss this. Yeah. I miss the city. I miss the opportunity that's here. But how much of the rest was it needed? I mean, I didn't need the time of, the amount of time I took off. That's a secret. Yeah. But I would just say, for any young entrepreneur that sees themselves like very hungry, very, very energetic, you are working all the time, you have these big goals. That was me. Now that's why I'm saying it's a different Jessica. But my biggest advice for the new realtors coming into this industry is allow yourself to not know. Allow yourself to learn. Allow yourself to take some time and like you said, figure out what your place is in this industry. And again, all the time in Cali wasn't needed, but I kind of got used to the sun. But the thing about Chicago also is that we have such good community here. We really have a lot of people that want to do good for the community. Yeah. A lot of people that are really building their businesses, I guess from the ground up, and a lot of very hungry people, a lot of very smart, knowledgeable people here in the city. But anyway, that's my biggest advice for someone young. Like, just surrender to the fact that you're not going to know everything.
Right. And no, that is really important, because when I'm kind of like looking at the full picture and perspective of just entrepreneurship, right? You have no idea what is next. And for me, one thing is I am a hustle culture person, right? Like, I'll be the first transparent to say, like, that drives me, because when I see other people, I'm like, fuck, I gotta be there,
Yeah, for sure.
I've learned, obviously, with time, you're not gonna get time back, right? Like, so you're kind of trying to balance the two, and it's not something that's easy to balance the two lives, and okay, you're trying to be the best version of yourself, but then at the same time, you got this over here, and there's some days that are worse than others. And that's one thing that I would tell entrepreneurs is like, capture when you have a good day for yourself, a personal win, not a business win, a personal win. Just take a step back and like look at it and be like, okay, today wasn't that busy, but it was a good personal me day. I had a really good me day. I had a really good family day. I had a really good outside of business day. But recognize when you're in business, it's kind of a locked in mode that nobody can turn off. And that's one thing I told my girls, like, during the week when I'm in work mode, that is like 9 to whenever I have to continue to hunt. I am hunting mode full on. I don't care. I am tunnel vision. When I get home, try to turn off. But, I do look up to other individuals that are in the industry. And I think what also helps me is when I see my team members working late. It's like, bro, how the fuck? I see my team member working 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever time they're working. I'm like, I feel bad because they're grinding. I'm like, all right, I got to step it up. But I do think there is a point in time where you kind of have to put a timeline on when, and I think that's what a lot of people don't do. You have to have some idea of what the future looks like. This hustle culture is not a forever thing. I think it's not sustainable. I think that if you do this for 50 years, you're 60, 70, 80 years old, and you hustled your whole entire life, it's okay. Maybe that's what brings forth happiness to you. But I think that there are, in a lot of people's lives, a lot more meaning to their life. Maybe it will be traveling with their family, or maybe it's traveling alone, or maybe there are other things in life that are more fulfilling than just the money, the glitz, the glam, the awards. And I think that's the reason why I tell people, when you're in the entrepreneurship field, you kind of have to set goals for yourself where it's like, all right, I'm doing this nonstop for the next 20 years. And then my goal is to become X, Y, and Z, where I can take a step back or be in a position to where I can have more time for myself. And that's the one thing that I learned over these times is like, I don't care what I have to do. My time frame is for when my daughter starts going to school and she has her own activities. I don't give a shit what time I have to work. I am going to be so locked in. No one's stalking me off my track. I'm focus, vision, because this is not the only kid I'm going to have, which is why I'm preparing for what I have to come. And that's why scaling, building is something that's super important for me, is to be the best version of myself as a father, as a man, as a businessman. Every perspective in life, I'm just like full throttle every single day. And for me, I look at your journey, and now it's like, all right, I think everybody should have that moment, though, and take a step back and realize, you know, I just had it at a younger age. That's all. That's the only. I had your moment when I was in college. I was just like, okay, here's my chapter. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to focus on. And I want this, and this. I just figured it out younger. But it's okay to do it. Maybe you're 25. Maybe you're 30. Maybe you're 35. 40, 50. Everyone has a turning point. There's some people that, you know, figure out their lives at 50 years old, and now all of a sudden 50 to 80 years old, they're happy for the rest of their life.
And I think that's exactly what we want, like exactly what I want to communicate is honor your own journey, because my journey is not the same as, you know, someone like yourself, right? And I think that taking some time off from real estate, again, it was okay. And I'm not even asking anyone to validate it. My journey as an entrepreneur started when I was 21. A lot of people don't know that, that I was hustling since I was 21. I opened up my first LLC when I was 21. I was working at the bank. I had 2 jobs. At one point, I was going to college, paying for my own tuition, you know, working until midnight, picking up holiday shifts. I mean, I am not by any means saying, you know, don't go after what you want to go after at the pace that you want. I'm saying that you should honor yourself and do as much introspection as you can, do as much digging as you can, because I'm not going to find my why or my goal or satisfaction or, you know, fulfillment from Justin's journey, from the next person over. I'm going to find fulfillment within my own journey, whether that's in real estate or not. That comes after me. That comes after my why. That comes after my journey. But to the point is, if we're here and we're clear on who we are first and foremost, then we are clear on what we want, and then we're clear on our goals, and then that opens up the path to actually going at a pace where it's more efficient, where you are actually achieving your goals, where you are now starting to lean on people that are around you, like your team. You are learning how to delegate, learning how to manage your time better, learning how to work Monday through Saturday, you know, versus Monday through Sunday like I was doing. That was not sustainable. So that's my whole message with this, is we are going to run, but for me now, looking at it as a landlord, as a homeowner, I'm zooming out a little bit, and for me, real estate is more of a lifelong journey than it is about the next 2 to 5 years. So that's why I'm grateful that I was able to zoom out, really look at it, really look at me as a person, and then look at my career, and then again, maintain that value of no matter what industry, what career, where I'm at, what country, what state, I hold my values true. And one of them is I move at my own pace.
No, and I love that. And it takes, the one thing people have to understand is that it takes time and experience.
Absolutely.
Right? It's the more life experience you have. And that's why I preach this all the time, but you never really understand how important that is until you meet a 70-year-old with regret, an 80-year-old with regret. And you understand that they have experiences that you never have experienced yourself. But you're also like, I don't want to experience that. I don't want to be 70, 80 years old saying like, damn, I fucked my life up. I'm in a position where now I don't have no type of relationship with my kids. I'm this, I'm that, and just live a life of complete regret. Another thing is time. It's okay to fall. It's okay to be in a position where you're like, all right, I'm growing, scaling, but I don't know where to turn. Is this something that I want to do for the rest of my life? Maybe you don't. Your business fails, but now you got to get back up.
Exactly.
Those are all the things that are going to occur in your journey. You got to honor your journey, like you said. Yeah. So I guess now, fast forward, what is your why now? How did you kind of determine what your why is? For someone that's watching, that they're kind of like, all right, how do I figure out where I'm at and the position I'm in, and how do I even figure out why I'm working for?
All right. So as many of us know, like, our why is very intimate and it's very personal, and I'll share it because it's you. But my why used to be building a business that my family would be proud of, and becoming an individual that my family would be proud of. That was my why. When I started in the real estate business, I wanted to grow my name, Jess Gomez. I wanted to grow my last name and honor my father, my grandfather, you know, and That's all that it was literally a horse with blinders on. That's the thing, what happens when you get obsessed with something. That's what happens when you really buy into what you're doing, and that propels you to work 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. And that was such a strong why, and that why hasn't gone away. Mm-hmm. Now my why is building a business that my family will be proud of course, my parents, my older relatives, but also now thinking about the future. My goal is to build a family one day. And also, before I get to the exterior why, my why is being well, feeling well, mm-hmm. showing up, knowing who I am with a confidence. And my why now is to keep exploring the world and travel. My why is to keep expanding my perspective, really. And my biggest why is to bring some sort of nug to my community, whether that's in Chicago or back home in Mexico or somewhere else, in a space where just by sharing your story or by being there or by providing some sort of service or act or something, you are providing something positive. So my why has really expanded, right? Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that today I'm thinking about a why that is going to be a little bit different than my why from 5 years. So even that's another piece of advice that I would tell my younger self right now. Be a little bit more flexible with your why, with your goals. It's okay. We are flexible. We are human beings. We have to adapt. We have to let ourselves evolve and grow. And our mindset and our perspective are going to naturally do so too.
And I think the one thing that I want to see or hear is, what was that turning point? What was the point where you kind of figured that out? Like, I think that, obviously everyone wants to honor their parents. That was something, honor, awards, all the things, to be recognized, mm-hmm. to be on there. But what was that turning point where you're like, all right, I might have achieved certain things that I thought I wanted, but like, is that really the true sole reason why I work and why I wake up every day? Maybe that could still be a reason why to wake up, but what was the turning point where you're like, all right, no, this is my fucking driver. This is what gets me and propels me every single day to become best version of myself.
For sure. So going back to the beginning days and having such a sense of urgency to accomplish my goals. I don't think I had taken a break since I was 21 and I opened up my business, and going into real estate, I hadn't taken a break. And quite frankly, I didn't have much mentorship outside of, family and that. So the pivot, the point, I guess, the pivot point is when I had already owned a condo. I was a landlord. Material things, okay, they are okay. And I'm a little careful with how I say this, but I pretty much have had materialistic things that I was okay with, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty content here. But I wasn't feeling the best on a personal level. And I started growing tired. And I started growing a little bit resentful towards, like real estate, because it was taking up so much of my time. And then I started seeing how I wasn't spending time with my family as much anymore. So there's the why. You're not spending time. You are not honoring the people that you are supposed to be making proud here. Right. You are not showing up for them. Right. So you're collecting these things outside of, your family circle, like the awards, the top producer, got the building, you have the title of a landlord. Okay, and now what? That's what happened. I was younger. I really just was standing in front of life and looking at it like, okay, I have these things, and now what? And there was a little part missing, and I think it was just a little bit of rest, adventure, and introspection and maturity. I mean, come on, people in their 20s, in their mid-20s, operate a little bit different than people in their mid-30s. 30s. So I think it was a little bit of maturity too, but the point, back to the main point, is the very people that I was trying to honor, I was actually neglecting.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. I mean, from what I heard, the quote, the first thing that comes to my head is, sometimes you're living a life that you prayed for. And I repeat again, sometimes you're living a life that you prayed for. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I bring that up is because initially you might be like, all right, I want to buy the building. I want these awards. I want this. I want it. And you ultimately achieve everything. But sometimes, and this is a learning curve for people that are entrepreneurs, you achieve all the things that you ever wanted, you ever prayed for. But you don't realize you're living the life that you literally wanted, you literally prayed for. And you don't enjoy the moment. You don't celebrate the wins. You don't celebrate the wins with the people that you love, which is the main reason why you're doing it on a daily basis. So sometimes you just got to take a step back, celebrate the wins.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Understand that there's another thing that's time heals everything. It really, there might be a really rocky road in front of you. And you might, fall a couple times. And that's completely okay. But understand that time will heal it. You have a broken arm, time will heal it.
Yeah.
Any issue that's really in front of you, it might suck for a period of time, or maybe even that goes both ways. Maybe you have the best time of your life and your awards are the best. You're in the best time of your life. Time will also make that pass by too. It don't matter. It's not going to be forever, Yeah, exactly. So it's always understanding and recognizing things come and go. It happens, but take everything for what it is and enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. And that was probably the most freeing thing that for me, I would say like 2023, 2024 was something that I had to learn because I'm very passionate in this industry. I love what I do. I absolutely love the job that I'm doing. But at the same time, I am that passionate that anything, whether it be good or bad, it was just like, it would eat my whole mind up. I couldn't sleep because I'm like, is this loan CTC? Oh my God, they're calling me. And it's like, right. And it took my whole mind up. But then you take a step back and you're like, okay, you learn how to manage, how to be a leader, how to just kind of delegate, how to try to shut off, right? Like how to do all these things. And that just simply comes with time and experience. And that's why I tell people you just have to kind of take a step back, go through all the things that you have to go through the growing pains, going through the hurt, go through the times that you're alone and you're just like, all right, what do I do? And that's why I love lifting. Because those are times for myself to reflect and just become the best version of myself and meet as many people as you can. Because a lot of things, another thing that people don't understand is you chase nostalgia. Your whole life, all you're really chasing is to be the little kid that you once were and cherish those memories all over again. And that's the one thing that in life is what my goals are. Money is an object to be able to get you more life experiences. The more life experiences you collect, that in my eyes is true wealth. If you could get to the point where, yes, this money is here, but you're doing it to be able to create more life experiences with yourself, with your family and everybody, this is the true version of wealth to me. Because if you have all the experiences in the world, what else do you want? You're having with your family, you're spending and you're winning with your family. So, I mean, I think that's the one thing that I kind of developed over time, but it's like meeting with people that are already there. That's what truly interests me at this point in my life is trying to read more, trying to learn more, trying to hear from other individuals who are already doing it and really trying to look the person in the eyes and like, are you happy? Like you might be the biggest developer in Chicago, but like I'm looking you in your eyes, like, are you happy with your family? Do you have any time for yourself? I want to know that. And if you do, how did you scale it? How did you grow it? And that is, I think I'm in a phase in my life where I want to meet more people who are very successful, but have figured out how to learn and how to delegate, grow a business to the point where they have time for themselves. Because you grow a business and you don't have time for yourself, there's really no point. I mean, unless you're like absolutely in love with business and that's all you want to do 24/7, that's okay too. Sure. If you love that, that's cool with you. But me personally, I want to give back. I want to be able to experience things with my family. And it sounds to me like that time frame got you to understand and realize that a part of your journey. So now that you're in this state, you're the best version, Jess, for everybody that's watching. What is now the things that you want to achieve, accomplish? Like, do you already have in mind what you're looking to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, since being back, I've spent kind of the last month and a half just analyzing, and now looking forward to the journey. And some of the things are still true as when I started. And even back then, I didn't know what I was saying, but I kind of did. I was like, if there's a few freedoms in life that I have, I'm golden. Okay. So I was like, if we have financial freedom of my time, and freedom of location. Okay. So those are the three that I'm going to mention now. For this year, that's exactly what I'm looking to achieve. Of course, I'm going to be 100% full-time focused in real estate, and I now have an amazing team to back me up. So my full professional time is going to go, or my full focus rather is going to go to my profession, which is real estate. And I am also going to, again, honor my family, spend more time with them. One of my things on my vision board this year is living and giving. And that's what I want to come back next year. And you're going to ask me, how was your year? How much did you give? How much did you share? How much did you grow? Yeah. And of course, we're going to come back and count some units, you know, but we'll talk about those later.
Yeah. That we'll definitely do a follow. We'll do a follow for that. Another question I have. Okay. This is something that when I don't ask this a lot from people, this is probably the first time I'm actually asking it, but I'm interested to hear your perspective on from the first moment that you met me, fast forward to where we're at right now. How does it look from the outside looking in on my journey and where I'm at? How did it look? I know that a lot of people have told me that it was just like kind of you blink and then you're in a position where it's like, what the fuck? What happened to Justin? How did it happen? But from that there to now, have you noticed a difference in me personally, business-wise, anything? What is your perspective on that?
My perspective on your journey and how I've seen you, you know, is that from the minute you started, you didn't really look for hurdles. You didn't look for what's wrong. You kind of, the fact that you got in the industry as a new person with the energy that you came in with, that's what propelled you to be where you are 3 years, right? Because I feel like the energy, the charisma, the sense of urgency, you already had that when you came in. And what you've developed in the last 3 years is now the discipline, the focus, and being able to actually lean on the community that you have around you. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Yeah. So I think for you, in the 3 years that you've been in this business, it's the discipline, the fact that you know where to look for support, where to find it, and your drive, charisma, and all of it is like 3 years. Of course it makes sense. Of course it makes sense. For me, looking at you is, yes, that makes sense. From our very first meeting at Café con Leche and our conversation, I was like, I know I'm going to see him. I know I'm going to see him in awards. I'm going to see him in consultations. I'm going to see him at events. We're going to be taking pictures. Like, I'm just so proud of you, actually, for just taking yourself seriously and doing it with such passion. I think we need more people in this industry that take this shit serious. Excuse my language.
No, you're good. You're good. But the reason why I brought it up is because vice versa, I see that. Like, I see it from the first moment that we met. Like, I knew that you first off, I always saw you in the office till like 9, 10 o'clock. It was routine. Every single time I would be at Loyalty, we'd be like the last people in Loyalty. And I always saw that in your journey, but it's refreshing to see this side of you, like this whole different perspective, the shift, because that's truly when I see people grow, is when they're just like, fuck it, I don't care. At this point, I'm just gonna, now I'm giving it my all. Whatever happens, cool. If it happens, cool. Not, if not, then, I mean, I've already been in a place where I didn't really know what I want, so I'll figure it out anyway. And that's when you truly are gonna propel. And I see that in you, like, whether it be health-wise, business-wise, I could see you already in a different state. You already got your, like, sweet juice over there, drink water and everything and shit. So, but I commend you for all the stuff that you have accomplished thus far outside of business. That's not the only thing in life. You have accomplished a lot of things what people are trying to figure out, which is the hard puzzle of life. How do you figure it out? I don't know, but you've obviously done it over the last year. So for everybody's watching, I want you guys to all pick this, understand that there's just a lot to life, right? Whether it be business and you're trying to take over the world, that's always going to be something that is going to be really important for yourself, for your family. Money, unfortunately, is something that we are all going to need. But in order for you to grow and accomplish this side of life, you also have to conquer yourself, which is the number one thing that you can invest in. Because there's not one stock that's going to give you a return that yourself is going to give you, you know? So I think it's really important to just reinvest in yourself, become the best version of yourself. And I think that was the point of this podcast, is just really understand how you got to where you're at. So I appreciate you for coming. Thank you so much, Jess. I really do appreciate it. Any final remarks?
Final remarks. Thanks so much for having me. And once again, I'm just grateful to be on this journey. And let's keep connecting with passionate individuals and, you know, let's take it to the next level.
2025, let's get it. If you guys have not already, please make sure to like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and most importantly, make sure you have your cafecito. Thank you guys for watching.